Would you look at that? Now you guys can see the screen and I've loaded stuff up. I'm basically continuing from where I left off last time, trying to get this guy actually in the game and working. I did want to have another go on the weight paints first. Right, let's stop avoiding the inevitable. Animate and fix this model and get him in, and then add more in-betweens and go nuts. Wait, I've already gone nuts. Okay, we've done that part. Let's skip to the other parts. I'd like to extend the idle animation. I'd like to add a bit more flair to it. Hardest bit about fixing this is I currently do not have a pen, so I have to do this by mouse. And I'd rather not. Basically, I want when the mouth's open for it to not look completely ridiculous. Okay, that's kind of fixed. Before, well, I noticed it was while I was doing the splash art last time. I noticed that there was a bunch of stuff going on with the inverse hull while the mouth was stretched out. That's looking a lot better. So I might be able to leave it like that for now. Let's animate this boy. See if I even remember how to. What is your idle pose, Nosher? What do you do? Let's just fucking animate stuff and see where I go with it. Insert keyframe, lock drop scale. Let's just do this. Okay, so let's sort of have a breathing animation going on first, I guess. I did it, it's an idle animation. Except not at all. But it's a start. Okay, let's add some more extra movements. Still want to give the impression that the arms aren't solid. So I'm trying to keep the bend in them and stuff and them moving unnaturally. Even though I gave it an elbow for some reason. I also should get out of the habit of matching everything to the same frames, because by having everything animate on the same beat, it kind of makes it look more mechanical than it should. If I have something slightly off beat, it'll look better. If I keep this as base idle, what I should have is I should have tertiary animations that come off of this that are him like looking left and right and stuff. And then what I can do is I can have a idle sit, and it's if it's sat in idle, it bounces off to a random animation. If it's been sat in idle for a certain period of time, it like has a random timer to fire off him looking left and right or something. Ooh, does that work?
What are you doing in my swamp?
Okay, that makes me like it. I have something I want to adjust. So on this frame here, one thing I always liked in old platformer games was when the animations would kind of look towards the player. So it'd be kind of cool if on like this bit here, because it is an idle animation, most of the time this will play because the player is not moving. So while it's not noticeable like here, from the back, it's like he's looking towards the player. It worries me that it does seem different in this version. I'm looking at the old file here. The ticks are on, but it doesn't seem to be playing all. That might be because I'm in Action Editor though. Fantastic. Okay. This NLA sheet might not beat the shit out of me today, which would be wonderful because that's what I did last time. I hated this thing last time I was figuring out how to work with it. It drove me insane. Let's try and not do this back and forward movement. Let's try and keep these frames here. I'm gonna move these into here. Delete this. I'm gonna try and do it more as a side-to-side movement, like a snake. That's more like it. By having that offset, it's more like the motion's actually being caused, having the tail like slightly offset, rather than him just being slid around by something, because the tail happens slightly before the body moves. I could probably have gone a bit more extreme with this animation. That's actually a bit subtle. Okay. I can dig with that. It's not too bad. Now let's try and have everything else wiggle that way too. If I can have this motion going through the whole thing, that'll be great. So what would be cool is to have some going the opposite way. So the head should probably not follow the body. Yeah, run, Nosher, run! Okay, that wobble adds a 10 out of 10 motion to it. I like the wobble. Okay, that's got good motion to it. I'm already very happy with that. Bit of an eyebrow wiggle. Oh, I'm kind of loving this animation now. This is a much better way for him to move. That's no good. Give it more space to breathe on the bottom. And then if I go back to pose, yeah, the distortion will be a little less rigid now. Still not perfect, but I can work on it. The arms are still too stiff, but that's because I ain't animated them yet, so of course they're stiff. Also, ear movement. What if I gave him, like, super runner's arms? I kind of want to see how this would look just for the fun of it. Let's go full ice skater mode with Nosh. He is gonna be the boy of the ice ring. Gotta fucking run! I'm making him ice skate. I gotta dash! He's coming for that cake. I'm coming for that cake. Don't dislike having the arms wave like a maniac. There's something kind of charming about it. Poor Nosh, he was on a diet of berries and it kept him so trim and fit. And he comes to the human world and it's just like, I'm gonna eat bats and skeletons and wolves and cake. I like that. I think I'm gonna stick with that for now, for the run animation. I think that's pretty good. So I need jump and attack. Okay, attack's gonna be an interesting one. Let's tackle attack. What I'll do is if I insert a lock cross scale here, drag it here, pose, transform, clear all transforms, insert all channels. I can see whether that looks ridiculous or not. Kinda working. I don't know if I'd complain about that. I want his head to take up most of the new hitbox. Something fun I actually wanted to do with the tongue I want to experiment with. I'm going to try it. Let's see if I can make it work. I wanted to see if I could get the tongue to go outside the mouth. Because if I can have like a delay between here to here to here, it'll look more like a wind effect. Like it's kind of a wind tunnel running down him. Rather than it being it just pulse. This animation always was going to be really basic. What I want to do is I want to add more custom in-betweens and extra bits after I've got the basic model in again. You know, in the game at the moment, currently, when you hit an enemy and eat him, it makes a sound effect and you reset. I want like a bite down animation where he kind of bites his jaw down and pops up a little bit to make it make sense. Like visually, the bite's reset because he's just chowed down on a monster. So I do want to add more stuff like that. That's why I've got the idle extra animation I've made, is so when I import it into Unity to test if the model's working in Unity properly. The other thing I can do is I can program in the idle extra, figure out how I'm going to go about doing that. But that should pretty much match what this boy does. It should actually work slightly better as well, because he doesn't pop up as much, so the hitbox won't look as weird, because the hitbox should stay in the same place. So you won't be confused by the height as much. He's also technically slightly bigger than the original Nosh. He's more the height I want him to be, which will mean the hitboxes will be slightly larger too. So we'll see how that works out. So all we need now is him in the air, like his general jump motion, which again didn't have an in-between on the original. If I go to the original here, you'll see that the jump animation is actually just him hovering. It's super basic, this one. It's just his head wobbling a bit. But what I can do is I can make more use of the arms. So what I'll do now is I'll do the hover animation, the him just generally in the air, and then I can do the lift off one and get that one working. The interesting thing about jumping is you don't actually want to move the model. Look, falling Nosh. Right, I'm gonna test this as an FBX. Can't use you yet, can I? Also, what the fuck? Yeah, he ain't ready. Okay, that's looking more correct, even though the UV map is way off. I know why, it's because it's using the other Nosh's skin. That's so weird. Hey look, it's Nosh in engine. Clearly not working yet, because it's not animated, but that's a dang good start. Nosh's fresh new look. Pretty slick, right? I'm gonna lift him up slightly because he's losing a bit of his body in the floor. But that's getting there. Oh, let's put 0.55. That might be enough. Because at the moment, if I move around while it's doing this animation, it's not gonna cut out of it properly. However, if it's just the standard breathing animation, like if I just move from there, I'm fine. But as soon as I wait for Not terrible to fix, but still not the desired state. And that should be cut off by everything? That looks weird. And there we go. New Nosher is functional with an extra animation. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Game's looking a lot more stylized now. Flat colors is working wonders as well. Like, he stands out from the mobs a lot. I really like his new running animation. I think that looks great, actually, in-game. Once there's a few more, like, transitions and things, that's gonna be cool. It's nice seeing the character you spent all this time actually in something and working. Kind of got to bathe in the moment a bit and enjoy the progress. Yay! That was a lot of work to make version 2 of Nosher, but it was so worth it. He looks so much better now. And I can do so much more with animation on this guy. There's still bits to fix, but now that I know the import and everything I'm doing is working, I can just make stuff for him now. I can make extra animations and things and not be like, I hope I'm not wasting my time. One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to do a second pass on the UI. Not so much redesign its functionality, because functionally it's fine for now, but just update the UI visuals and bits. Because at the moment, old Nosher's head and it's a bit badly drawn. So I'd like new Nosher and a better picture of the berries, like something a bit more high render. Maybe if I can do like a cartoonized font, like make it a bit more than just flat color. Even if that just involves doing some text stuff to make it so the font has a border on it or something. I don't have friends, they disappoint me.